So you just picked up your PSVR 2 and you are ready to go. Well, just take these few steps because they might just save you and give you the best experience you possibly could ever have in virtual reality. In this video, I'm going to cover some of the most common mistakes that people make so that it's going to give you the best experience you can possibly have on your first experience, or even if you're a veteran in VR, these tips are going to help you out and give you the best experience possible. Now, I've seen quite commonly already in this VR headset that a bunch of people are saying, oh my god, I've got a blurry image. Well, we can solve that in one very simple way. So let's dive straight into the tips and tricks to fix the blurry issues, and then we can move on into some other stuff that's going to help you out if you're new to VR. Tip 1, if you're getting a blurry lens, is clean the lens. Now, you'll be surprised just how often that lens actually gets dirty. If you're like me and you have long eyelashes, well, those rubbing on there give those human oils straight onto that lens, and unfortunately that happens. If you're cleaning those lenses, use a microfiber cloth or a lens cleaning cloth, because they are the only things you should be using on there. Please, for the love of God, don't be using a t-shirt on there. You will absolutely destroy your lens, and take it from me, I have scratched the lens. It sucks. You will see it forever and you will never not see it again. The other thing I'm going to say as well is don't use any liquids. No liquids whatsoever. Do not use any lens cleaning liquids. Do not use any acetones or waters or sprays. Just don't. Keep it dry. Keep it clean. Seriously, if you do that, you will damage the lens, and also with the PSVR 2 having the eye tracking on it, any moisture going in there will pretty much X that thing out straight away. So just heed my advice. Keep it dry. Keep it clean. I don't want that to be my new motto. Let's move on. The next tip is make sure you're wearing this headset correctly. I have seen so many people complaining about a blurry experience, and then they see a picture of them using it and I'm like, well, that's because you're wearing it incorrectly. Take the time to go through the setup process at the beginning. Quite frequently I'm seeing people that have just skipped right through all the tutorial stage because they've owned a VR headset before, or they assume, well, oh, I know how to wear a headset, I don't need to do that. Honestly, take the time to go through that experience, as that setup process really will guide you exactly how to be wearing it, and that's very important. On the PSVR 2, the sweet spot, which is like the most clearest spot in the lenses, that is quite small, so you really do need to be wearing it absolutely perfect for you. My advice is to get it on your head and just, bring it into your eyes, make sure it's perfect, and then tighten it down, and you are going to be good to go. The next most common one is the IPD setting, which is essentially the inner pupillary distance, so the distance between your two pupils. Now, to adjust this, there is a wheel on the side. Possibly one of the biggest design flaws on the PSVR 2 is that wheel. Unfortunately, it is so easy to knock, and you can just knock it just a little bit and it will put the headset out of focus for you. Kinda sucks. I wish there was a way to either lock it off or something, maybe have made it mechanical so that it couldn't be knocked, or maybe put it in a position where you're not likely to grab the headset by. I've now made it a ritual of mine to check my IPD settings every time I get into VR, and you should too. All you have to do is double tap the PlayStation button and scroll down to the IPD adjustment. It will literally bring up a representation of where your eyeballs are, and then you can scroll it until it's perfect. Also, make sure you read the text that's in that room. Make sure it's really clear, no ghosting, just make sure it looks really crisp. At that point, you are good to go. The next one is recalibrating your eye tracking. Again, double tapping that button and going down to eye tracking, you can recalibrate the eye tracking at any point. Now, I don't think you need to do this every single time you get into the headset, but it's probably a good habit to get in every now and then, or maybe after cleaning the lenses, just to make sure that you haven't smeared anything on there and it's working correctly. The reason I say this is because a lot of games are using foveated rendering that is tracked by your eyes. So basically, where you're looking is the clearest point in the image, and that is how it renders it. Now, if it's not tracking your eyes correctly, then you're just going to be seeing the blur around where it's trying to track the clearest mark. Hopefully that solved any of the clarity issues that you're having with your PSVR 2, and if it has, let me know in the comments down below. If it hasn't, also let me know in the comments down below, and maybe we can troubleshoot a little further to help you get the best experience that you could possibly have on the PSVR 2. Honestly, those few tips already have saved a bunch of people that I've told them to, so just take time to make the effort to do those things, and it will give you the best experience you can possibly have for the first time. The next ones are tips and tricks that are going to save you and give you longevity to your headset. The first one being cable care. It sounds so obvious, but honestly, I've seen so many people wreck cables to VR headsets over the years, it's unbelievable. Me included, so guilty as charged. It will have a memory of how it was stored in the box, so follow that when you roll up the cable in your hand. The other piece of advice I can say is get a little cable tie. I've got a little Velcro one that goes onto the end of mine, then I can just Velcro it up when I'm storing the headset away and keep it tidy, keep it clean, and keep that cable damage free. The next one I can tell you is don't put your headset in direct sunlight. It can destroy the headset in literally moments. Seconds go by and your headset is ruined, as those lenses act like magnifying glasses for the sun. So when it comes in, you're just going to be burning your screen on the other side, making that headset 100% unusable. Can you imagine trying to play VR with a big dead spot of pixels? I don't think I want to. So just don't put it in the sunlight, get yourself a lens protector or something of the sorts, then you can never have that happen. Also, really the best piece of advice is just store it somewhere where it's completely away from sunlight. The next one is more geared towards the new VR players. If you're new to VR and you're just getting into this for the first time, or even considering purchasing a PSVR2, which is why you're watching this video in the first place, then take it from me. Start on the easier experiences, because the last thing you want is motion sickness in VR. It can really destroy the experience, if not put you off VR altogether. So listen to your body when it tells you, I'm feeling a bit googly, it's time to step out. If you're starting to feel a bit clammy, hot, or if your stomach's starting to feel a bit magoo, then it's time for you to get out of virtual reality. Just step aside, come back in an hour's time, and you'll be absolutely fine. The worst thing you can possibly do is try and push through it. If you get those feelings and you're like, oh, just do an extra half an hour, please don't, because honestly, it's just going to ruin your day. You're going to feel really rough after, and there's not a lot you can do to come back from it once you've got it, because you just feel a bit rough for the rest of the day. Now, if you do what I'm telling you, you'll be absolutely fine. Do short periods of time in virtual reality, then take a little bit of break and listen to your body. If it's telling you to get out, take a little break, have some water, and come back. Water is another really key one as well. Stay hydrated in virtual reality. Honestly, you would be so amazed how much you're burning off while you're in VR and sweating, and you need to replace those things. So stay hydrated. It's very, very important. Now, one thing I will say off the back of the motion sickness stuff is comfort settings. Now, this is something that gets overlooked so frequently in VR games, is the comfort settings. So jump in there and check them out. There are so many different options now, from vignetting when you're moving to the different styles of turnings like snap turning, smooth turning, or incremental snap turning. These things will really, really change your experience. Even just simple stuff like teleportation over free movement can completely change the experience if you're new to VR, and it will make you have a much better experience. Some of you are probably going to think, no, I want to be fully immersed, which means smooth turning, and I want to be able to run at maximum speed and everything. But if you're new to VR, it can make you feel kind of rough, kind of quick. So take time to listen to your body. Just take the advice to be able to do those things, and it's going to make you have a fantastic experience. Me personally, I have my VR legs these days, and I mean, I can spend like 8, 9, 12, 20 hours into VR. It wouldn't affect me, but it didn't always start that way. When I very first started, I used to feel kind of rough getting into VR, and I'd have to take breaks after like 20 minutes and listen to my body, and the times I didn't are the times I regretted. Now, listening to those few bits of advice can really change this experience for you, and the last thing you want is to feel rough and never come back to VR again. You're going to miss out on such a wonderful world of gaming. So yeah, take my advice.